Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna to all the devotees. Today is Balaram Jayanti and we will be talking about Balaram Jayanti. About Balaram, a few words about Balaram ji. Okay. So you must have already heard about most of the stories, just little passages we will just go through. Okay, today is this Balaram Jayanti. So we are learning everything, all this from ISKCON Mangalore, and we'll start with Pranati and then we'll proceed further. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavansya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. The program is started, Nirmal Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. I saw somebody's chat. Hare Krishna. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gaurakrishe Namaha Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we always have to start with Pranati. We need to take obeisances from all our acharyas and now all other demigods. I mean, all other gods. Now we'll enter into Lord Balaram Leela. So there are two shlokas from Adi Leela, Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela. Just quickly we will read that and then we'll go to the past tense. Sarvavatari Krishna Swayam Bhagavan Tahara Vitiya Deha Shri Balarama, and the next is Ekaihi Swarupa Dohe Vinna Matra Kaya Adya Kaya Vyuha Krishna Leela Rasahaya. What it says is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is the fountainhead of all incarnations. Okay, everything starts from, see, he is the main source of everything, all the creation and everything. From his, all the plenary expansion and everything comes. Even Balarama is also an expansion of Krishna only, with all full potencies. So everything we will read further. So Lord Balarama is his second body. Now what Prabhupada has written is, Lord Sri Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, is a primeval Lord, the original form of Godhead. Just a moment. I'm sorry, there was a call urgent call. Yeah, so yeah, it was Lord Sri Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, is a primeval Lord, the original form of Godhead, and his first expansion is Sri Balarama. So he has all the potencies as Krishna. He looks the same, everything is same, except little minor difference. Otherwise, all opulence will be the same. The personality of Godhead can expand himself in innumerable forms. The forms that have unlimited potency are called Swamsha. Swaya, like Swa Amsha. That is Swamsha. And forms that have limited potencies, that is living entities, are called Vibhinna Amsha, different Amshas. And here it says these two are one and the same identity. They differ only in form. They look like two people, two persons. Lord Balarama is the first bodily expansion of Krishna, and he assists in Lord Krishna's transcendental pastimes. Now, what Prabhupada writes is Balarama is the Swamsha expansion of the Lord, and therefore there is no difference in potency between Krishna and Balarama. The only difference is in their bodily structure. He is little fair and he is Krishna Varna. Krishna is Krishna Varna. As the first expansion of Godhead, Balarama is the chief deity among the first quadruple forms. Sankarshana, Pradyumna, those forms are there. No? So he's the first Swamsha. And he's the foremost assistant of Sri Krishna in his transcendental activity. He's there throughout Krishna, throughout wherever Krishna is there, he's also there as a support system. Yeah, then we'll go for his past tense. Okay, now how he is born and everything we'll see. The Lord also declared to Yogamaya, yeah, he says, by plenary expansion of Ananta Sesha, he is the fog. Balrami is Ananta Sesha's fog only. So Ananta Sesha is what? The bed, the snake bed wherein is lying. Karno the Vishnu is lying, that bed. Is it shown? Not shown. Okay, my plenary expansion, Ananta Sesha, is within the womb of Devaki. On account of being forcibly attracted to the womb of Rohini, he will be known as Sankarshana, that is Akarshan. So he's been attracted to the womb of Devaki. So he's that, the name has come as Sankarshana, and will be the source of all spiritual power. Or Bala is, very, not only physical, every, by which one can attain the highest bliss of life, which is called Ramana. Therefore, the plenary portion Ananta will be known after his appearance either as Sankarshana or Balarama. So it's like Ramana, Rama, Bala, all together he is called as Balarama. There are many slides, so we'll have to do it very quickly. So in the later part, it will be fast. In the Upanishads, it is stated, Nayam Atma Bala Hinena Labhyaha. The purport is that one cannot attain the supreme platform of self-realization without being sufficiently favored by Balarama. Bala does not mean physical strength. No one can attain spiritual perfection by physical strength. Like physical strength is just eat well and grow big and you have to know. That doesn't mean Bala. Bala means something else. So one must have a spiritual strength, which is infused by Balarama or Sankarshana. Ananta or Sesha, where in Karnodaka Shai Vishnu is lying, that Ananta Sesha. Now, there is a snake, is the source of power which sustains all the planets in their different positions. Materially, this sustaining power is known as the law of gravitation, but actually it is a display of potency of Sankarshana. Balaram, these are all little, people who may know about this, we can grasp it faster. Otherwise, it will be little like, so many names, I'm not able to understand. Just take it like they are all the plenary expansion of main Krishna. So all the Sankarshana, Balaram also, and what Pradyumna, all these names you may get. So Balarama or Sankarshana is the source of spiritual power or the original spiritual master. Therefore, Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Again, Nityananda Prabhu is also expansion of, he's got the quality of all Nityananda. Nityananda Prabhu has got the qualities of Balaram. Therefore, Lord Nityananda Prabhu, who is also the incarnation of Balarama, is the original spiritual master. And the spiritual master is the representative of Balarama, the former spiritual personality of Supreme Personality of Godhead, who supplies spiritual strength. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is confirmed that the spiritual master is the manifestation of mercy of Krishna. These are just a preface of Balarama ji. Now we'll see how he is born and all. So the name giving ceremony, the babies are born, now the names are given. Yeah, the name giving ceremony. Yeah, when Gargamuni is a saint, was so eagerly requested by Nanda Maharaj, he performed the name giving ceremony as secretly as possible in the cowshed of Nanda Maharaj. He informed Nanda Maharaj that the son of Rohini would be very pleasing to his family members and relatives, and therefore would be called Rama. So he named him as, initially he named him as Rama. In the future, he would be extraordinarily strong and therefore would be called Baladeva. Again, physical, not only physical strength, scriptural studies, everything. He will be very, strong enough in all knowledge. In the future, he would be extraordinarily so strong, and therefore would be called Baladeva. Garga Muni said further, because your family and the family of Yadus are so intimately connected and attracted, his name will also be Sankarshana. One more name, just keeps adding. This means that Garga Muni awarded 3 names to the son of Rohini, namely Balarama, Sankarshana, and Baladeva. But he carefully did not disclose the fact that Balarama had also appeared in the womb of Devaki and was subsequently transferred to the womb of Rohini. That secret he didn't reveal. So Krishna and Balarama are real brothers, being originally sons of Devaki. So he was born to Devaki, but he was transferred to Rohini's womb. So that he did not reveal. It was kept a secret. So they both are like real brothers. So now they have grown up. Now Bhattatis. So we just finished Chorashtakam, that, this month, So the whole month we were singing the Chorashtakam. So you can imagine this. So if we keep our stock of yogurt, butter, and milk in a solitary dark place, we have Krishna. These are all complained, okay, from there's gopis, all complaints coming to his mother, Krishna's mother, Devaki. You have Krishna and Balarama find it in the darkness by glaring effulgence of the ornaments and jewels, because they're wearing those ornaments full of, decked up with ornaments. So even in the dark, they're able to locate the pot because of the effulgence coming out of their ornaments. So if ornaments and jewels on their bodies. If by chance they cannot find the hidden butter and yogurt, they go to our little babies and pin their bodies so that they cry, and then they go away out of anger. If out of fear of these naughty boys, we keep a stock of butter and yogurt high on the ceiling, hanging on a swing, although it is beyond their reach. They were small kids, so they won't be able to reach. That's what they think. Gopis think, and they hang it in the ropes, so that it will be beyond their reach. They arrange to reach it by piling all kinds of wooden planks over the grinding machine. And if they cannot reach, they make a hole in the pot. We think, therefore, that you would better take all the jeweled ornaments from the bodies of your children. So better you remove all the, as it is, they are doing all this stuff. So remove, so that when you remove all the ornaments, in the dark, they will not be able to locate the yogurt and, butter pots. So slowly they are growing up, and now they have become Krishna praises Balarama. So this is a very beautiful shloka is here. So we'll see that. It is given in Bhagavatam. Shri Bhagavan Vacha, Aho Ami Deva Varamarachitam, Padambujam Te Sumanas Palarhanam, Namanti Upadaya Shikpabir Atmanas, Tamo Apahatyai Tarujanma Yatkritam. You should see the meaning. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Oh, greatest of lords." He's telling Balarama, "Oh, greatest of lords. Just see how these trees are bowing their heads at your lotus feet. Some creepers are coming like this. Some branches are, coming and, putting their head down and touching your feet. It is as if it is bowing down and taking your, Ashirvad. They are worshipping you. So how these, oh great of Lord, just see how these trees are bowing their heads at your lotus feet, which are worshipable by the immortal demigods. The trees are offering you their fruits and flowers to eradicate the dark ignorance that has caused their birth as trees. All living, they are living being only, born as trees now. So they are paying their obeisances to. There's so much respect to Baldeva. Then Krishna and the covered boys honor Balarama. They also, like all the boys, also honor Balarama. You see that. There's also there in Bhagavatam. Kvachit krida parishrantam gopat sanga gopabarhanam swayam vishramyati aryam Samvahanadibihi. When his elder brother fatigued from playing, he was tired, and he wants to lie down. Would lie down with his head upon the lap of covered boy. Lord Krishna would help him relax by personally massaging his feet and offering their services. Such a loving like siblings they were. And with all Gopas, everybody, like not only they, everybody, all the Gopas and everybody, all were together and they were all offering this service to him. The one Asura, every time they encounter some Asuras, the killing of Dhenukasura and friends, and his friends will see that. So Dhenukasura, he has come in the form of a bull, I think. Dhenukasura was a powerful demon who had assumed the form ass, okay, but doesn't look like an ass, okay. It is so huge, like, it looks like this ox. Dhenukasura was a powerful demon who had assumed the form of an ass. With his demon friends, he was occupying Talavana. So many vanas are there, and these children used to play, go to the vanas and they play. So he was there in Talavana, one of the 12 forests of Vrindavana. Out of fear of these demons, no one could approach Talavana and enjoy the numerous flowers because full of fruits and flowers in that Talavana. But nobody, the children will never dare to go there because this beast is there, who is that? Dhenukasura is there. So Krishna says, okay, no problem. I will go and find out who is he. So out of fear of these demons, no one could approach Talavana and enjoy the numerous fruits and flowers in the forest. Balarama, induced by his coward friends, entered the forest desiring to kill the demons. He began shaking the fruit trees, making a big noise. So they said, okay, come, let's go and find out who is he and how strong is that Asura. So they started shaking the trees and all, make a lot of sound and all, and that invoked the Asura. Who is this? Let's come to my area. Dhenuka, furious at the intrusion, attacked Balarama with his bare legs. You can see in the picture. But Balarama easily picked him up by his legs and swirled him around until he died. As the other demon friends of Dhenuka rushed to attack, Krishna and Balarama picked them up and threw them on trees, killing them immediately. Soon the forest was free of all demons, and it appeared that the when trees were being directed by Balarama to pay obeisances to Krishna. Very beautiful. So whenever we see the branch coming down like this, I always remember, oh, they must be paying obeisances to God. So next, who is it? Killing the demon, Pralambasura, the next one. So many ones. Once when Krishna and Balarama were playing with the coward boys, a demon named Pralamba entered their midst disguised as a coward boy. He was also like one of the coward boys. So these people could not make out. And they were just playing. Come on, you also join with us and we'll not play. Understanding the invincible potency of Krishna, he instead decided to abduct Balarama. Krishna is a secondary. No, let me attack at least Balarama. Then I will see Krishna, because Krishna is like as good as impossible thing, I won't be able to kill him. He said, first I will try to attack Balarama. He thought that way. But he was looking like a covered boy only. So nobody could make out. So at the end of the game, as the losing party, he was supposed to carry Balarama on his shoulder. Whoever loses has to carry the opposite parties, those players on their back and run or walk up to a certain distance. Carrying the Lord on his shoulder, he ran swiftly. But Balarama, realizing the true identity of the demon, because he was asking, where are you taking me? You're going to a different place. It's not a normal way. So slowly he understood Balarama. Oh, this is somebody else. Started blowing him hard on his head. So Balarama, realizing the true identity of demon, began to make himself heavier and heavier. Unable to bear the weight, the demon assumed his original form. Then he took his original form, which was like huge, dark, effulgent cloud decorated with golden ornaments. Balarama then brought his fist down on the head of the demon, splitting it into two and causing him to give up his life. So, this way, Pralambasura also was killed. Now leaves for Mathura. Now they are leaving for Mathura. Yeah. Now Kamsa wanted these two children to come there because he's planning to kill these two children. Okay. So he has told Akrura, go and get those children. Tell them that they have not seen this city, so let them come and have a look at the city. So call them. So Akrura goes there. Kamsa, sorry. Yeah. Kamsa called for Akrura, one of the descendants in the family of Yadu, in which Krishna was born as the son of Vasudeva. When Akrura came to see Kamsa very politely requested Akrura to go to Vrindavana and find Krishna and Balarama and encourage them to come to see the beauty of Mathura and take pleasure in the wrestling competition. Kamsa gave a nice chariot and requested Akrura to bring Krishna and Balarama immediately. Kamsa said his plan is to kill them. Near the gate, he had arranged a giant elephant named Kuvalepida to kill them. But if they escape that, if they try to escape that elephant, they will next meet the wrestlers and will be killed by them. That is Kamsa's plan. And after killing these two boys, he would kill Vasudeva and Nanda, that is their parents also, who are supporters of the Vrishni and Bhoja dynasties, and also kill his father Ugrasena, his own father, and brother Devaka, because they were his actual enemies who were hindrances to his diplomacy and politics. This way, he had planned to get rid of all his enemies, including his own father, his brother, whoever like at sight. Like if they are not according to his terms, kill them. And so they will be rid of all enemies. With the help of Jarasandha, his father-in-law, and a monkey friend named Dvivida, he had planned to kill all the kings on the surface of the world who support the demigods. This is my plan. In this way, he would be free from all opposition and rule the world without obstruction. He also said that Sambara, Narakasura, Banasura are his intimate friends who would help him considerably in destroying all his enemies. Is there somebody writing in chat? Yeah, okay. I thought any urgent message, though I need to check the chat. But I've actually logged the, you won't be able to talk in between because in case there's some noise from behind, unknowingly. So this class will not be disturbed. Sorry. Vision of Vishnu Loka within the Yamuna River. Yeah, now they are leaving. Now they are leaving and they have reached the Yamuna River. So Akrura is taking them. And now what happens? Akrura was warmly received by Lord Krishna and Nanda Maharaj and offered a resting place for the night. Akrura explained Krishna the purpose of his coming to Vrindavana was to take him back to Mathura to participate in the ceremony known as Dhanur Yajna. They immediately informed Nanda Maharaj and he at once called for the covered men and arranged for the cows and bulls to carry milk and all kinds of milk products to present to the king. They had no suspicion that Kamsa is has all this plan to kill their children. No, he had no suspicion at all. He said, no, Raja ko milne ja rahe hain. Give them all that, lot of dahi and lot of milk, everything was taken in the carts. They immediately informed Nanda Maharaj and he at once called for the covered men and arranged for the cows and bulls to carry milk and all kinds of milk products to present to the king in the ceremony. The Lord, accompanied by Akrura and Balarama, traveled in the chariot with great speed towards the bank of Yamuna. Now, on the way, simply by taking bath in the Yamuna, anyone can diminish the reactions of his sinful activities. Krishna and Balarama, after taking their baths in the river, took their seats again in the chariot. They said, okay, we will take bath on their way to this. So now we'll take bath and we'll become fresh. And they came and sat on the chariot, which was standing underneath the shade of a big tree. Now, Akrura then took their permission. He said, okay, now you all be here and I will go and take bath and come. So Akrura then took their permission and went to take bath in the Yamuna. According to Vedic ritual, after taking bath in a river, one should stand at least half submerged and murmur Gayatri Mantra. After taking bath, one has to chant Gayatri Mantra. While he was standing in the river, Akrura suddenly saw what he saw in the river. He saw Balarama and Krishna within the water. And he was surprised. How come? I've already left them. They have already taken bath. They are in the chariot. So I may ask them to wait there so that I would take bath and come. But how come these people are here? So he had some doubt, So Balarama Krishna within the water. He was surprised to see them there because he was confident that they were sitting on the chariot. Confused, he immediately came out of the water and saw that they were sitting on the chariot as before. So again, he was confused. How come they are there in the chariot as well as in the water? He began to wonder whether he had mistakenly seen them in the water. So went again back to the river. This time now what he saw not only Balarama and Krishna, there were many other demigods and all the Siddhas and Charanas and Gandharvas. They're all paying obeisances. They were all going down and before the Lord. Akrura saw Balarama turned into Seshanaga. Balarama has become a Seshanaga and Krishna is lying there. Krishna turned into Mahavishnu. As he saw the transcendental 400 Supreme Personality of Godhead, he became overwhelmed with joy and great devotion. And all over his body, there was transcendental shivering. He bowed down his head before the Lord and with folded hands and faltering voice, he began to offer prayers to the Lord. Now they are so slowly. Now he understood they are all not ordinary children. They are, God. Now they are on their way to Mathura, enters Mathura. Upon reaching the entrance to Mathura, Krishna and Balarama got down from the chariot and shook hands with Akrura. Thank you. Now you go. You go to your house. We will take care of, we will just see the other, the whole city and we will come. Krishna informed Akrura, you may go home now because we shall enter Mathura along with our associates. Akrura replied, because they have their other paraphernalia all coming behind, no? But Akrura was a little, said, by how come, how can I leave them? Suppose if they run away? He has promised Kamsa, no, like I will bring those children and I'll make them stand before you. So he was little perplexed. So Akrura replied, my dear Lord, I cannot go to Mathura alone, leaving you aside. I am your surrendered servant. Please do not try to avoid me. Please come along with me, with your elder brother and covered boyfriends, and sanctify my house, my dear Lord. If you come to my house, my home will be sanctified by the dust of your lotus feet. On hearing this, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna said, replied, Akrura, I shall surely come to your home with my elder brother Balarama, but only after killing all the demons who are envious of the Yadu dynasty. In this way, I shall please all my relatives. Akrura became a little disappointed by these words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he could not disregard the order. He therefore entered Mathura and informed Kamsa about the arrival of Krishna. And then he entered his own home. After the departure of Akrura, Lord Krishna, Balarama, and covered boys entered Mathura to see the city. They observed that the gates of Mathura was made of first-class marble, very well constructed, and the doors were made of pure gold. There were gorgeous gardens all around, and the whole city was encircled by cannons so that no enemy could enter very easily. When the news spread that Krishna, Balarama, and the covered boys were within Mathura city, all the inhabitants gathered. Everybody came. Many of them knew that he is God. Gathered, and the ladies and the girls immediately went up to the roofs of the house to see them. They have been awaiting the arrival of Krishna and Balarama with great anxiety. Next. Well, Krishna and Balarama were passing in their way. They saw washermen and dyeing, they're dyeing all the washing clothes on the riverbed. Dyer of clothing. Krishna was pleased to ask him for some nice clothing. Nice. I am all in that, not that very good dress. No, I'm going to see the king. No, give me nice dress. He also promised that if the washerman would deliver the nicest dyed cloth to him, he would be very happy and all good fortune would be his. He just said, just give me good clothes and all you'll be blessed. Instead of being pleased, he was very angry. The washerman did not understand. Who this little boy is, talking to me like that. He got very angry and refused the Lord's request, saying, how is it that you are asking clothing which is meant for the king? On hearing this, Lord Krishna, the son of Devaki, became very angry at the washerman and striking him with the upper portion of his hand, he separated the man's head and his body. He just one blow and, the body became two parts. Head is away from the body. The washerman fell down dead on the ground. In this way, Lord Krishna confirmed the statement that every limb of his body is capable of doing everything he likes. Without a sword, but simply with his hand, cut off the head of the washerman. In the meantime, a devotee tailor, one tailor, he is very good person. He would like to say whatever like Krishna said. He said, okay, I'll stitch clothes for you. He was very good. So a devotee, he's a devotee. The devotee tailor took the opportunity of service and prepared some nice clothes from the cloth of for Krishna and Balarama. Thus, being very nicely attired, Krishna and Balarama looked like elephants dressed with colored clothing on the full moon day of the dark moon. They were very gorgeously looking, very nicely dressed. They were given all this clothing. These streets passed fast. So Krishna was very much pleased with the tailor and gave him the benediction of Sarupya Mukti, which means that after leaving his body, he would be liberated and would attain a body exactly like 400 Narayanas in the Vaikuntha planets. He also granted him that as long as he would live, he would earn sufficient opulence to be able to enjoy sense gratification. He was given that benediction. Now because he has pleased the Lord. What is next? After dressing nicely, Krishna and Balarama went to the florist. Now then he went to the person like who's making a garland. So florist of the name Sudama. His name is Sudama. As soon as they reached the precinct of his house, the florist immediately came out with great devotion, fell down on his face to offer his respectful obeisances. He offered a nice seat to Krishna and Balarama and asked his assistant to bring out flowers and betel nuts smeared with pulp of chandana. The florist greatly satisfied the Lord. The florist very humbly and submissively offered his prayers to the Lord. The florist Sudama was greatly pleased within his heart by seeing Krishna and Balarama in his place. And thus, as his choicest desire, he made two exquisite garlands of various flowers and presented them to the Lord. But both Krishna and Balarama were very pleased with his sincere service, and Krishna offered the florist his salutations and benediction, which he is always prepared to bestow upon the surrendered soul. We just need to take his little name, once or twice, just take his name. He is waiting to give us return gifts. He's just, karuna, too much of compassion. So he just, Krishna is waiting to give us a benediction. So we just need to surrender. When the florist was offered benediction, he begged from the Lord that he may remain his eternal servant in devotional service, and by such service do good to all living creatures. Being satisfied with the florist, Lord Krishna not only gave him benediction for whatever he wanted, but over and above that, he offered him all material opulences. Full of, have all good. He will never remain a pauper. So he'll be a rich man. So family, everything, all opulences like name, fame, and all that. So family, prosperity, long duration of life, and whatever else his heart desired within the material world. So material opulence was also granted to him, so they can live happily. Okay, then after that they go to that arena, the breaking of the bow in the sacrificial arena. As Krishna and Balarama walked along the king's road, the merchants worshipped them with various offerings. Krishna asked where the bow sacrifice was to take place, and when he arrived at the arena, he saw the wonderful bow which resembled Lord Indra's. Despite the guards' protest, Krishna forcibly picked up the bow, easily strung it, and in an instant broke it into half, in producing an ear-splitting sound that filled the heavens and struck terror in the heart of Kamsa. The many guards attacked Krishna, crying out, "Seize him, kill him." That was the plan. Okay, that was the plan of Kamsa had arranged all these things. So seize him and kill him. But Krishna and Balarama simply picked up the two halves of the bow and beat the guards to death. That's all. That was the end of those gods. It's given, all these pastimes are given in Bhagavatam. So in between that shloka comes, Kare navamena salilam, Kare navamena sililam udhratam, Sajjam chakritva nimishena pashyatam, Nranam vikrashya prabhavanja madhyato yatekshudandam madapari urukramaha. Easily lifting the bow with his left hand, Lord Urukrama strung it in God's name is called Urukrama, strung it in a fraction of a second as the king's guards looked on. They were all surprised. He then powerfully pulled the string and snapped the bow in half, just as an excited elephant might break a stalk of sugarcane. So that is given in Shloka, what we read. Now they went to this wrestlers, all big giants, and these two children are very small. After Kamsa's wrestlers expressed their determination, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the killer of Madhu, confronted Chanura. And Balarama, the son of Rohini, confronted Mushtika. So Chanura and Mushtika were two giant wrestlers. So both were, attacking the Krishna and Balarama. So Krishna and Chanura, and then Balarama and Mushtika locked themselves against the other with a view to come out victorious. The fighting increased as they pushed one another from one place to another. The fighting increased step by step. All the arts of wrestling were perfectly exhibited by the parties, as each tried his best to defeat his opponent. When Lord Krishna, the super soul of every living being, understood that the ladies in the assembly were anxious for him, he decided not to continue wrestling, but to kill the wrestlers immediately. For some time, okay, for fun time, let him get, I will also get, for some time it's okay. But then he saw all the ladies are waiting when Krishna is going to kill. Chalo, then now I'll finish the game, That's the end of the game. I'll just give one blow and so I'll finish the drama. So the parents of Krishna and Balarama, namely Nanda Maharaja, Yashoda, Vasudeva and Devaki, were all very anxious because they did not know the unlimited strength of their children. Lord Krishna appeared to be cruel to Chanura, and he immediately struck him thrice with his fist. The great wrestler jolted to the astonishment of the audience. Chanura then took his last chance. He began to strike the chest of Krishna. But Lord Krishna was not even slightly disturbed, no more than an elephant that is hit by a flower garland, as if that blow was like a flower garland falling on him. So it didn't hit him hard. Krishna quickly caught the two hold of Chanura, began to wheel him around. Chanura lost his life. Krishna then threw him to the ground. Mushtika also struck Balarama, and Balarama returned the stroke with great force. Distressed, he gave up his vital force and fell down. Both this were down. After the two wrestlers were killed, a wrestler named Kuta came forward. Lord Balarama immediately caught him in his left hand and killed him nonchalantly. Another wrestler of the name Shala came forward and Krishna immediately kicked him and cracked his head. Another wrestler named Toshala came forward and was killed in the same way. Thus, all the great wrestlers were killed by Krishna and Balarama. And the remaining wrestlers began to flee from the assembly out of fear for their lives. And who was watching all this? Kamsa was there. If that was his main aim is to kill Krishna and Balarama. Now, finally, is what? Now, who is left? Kamsa is left. So all the people gathered there began to clap in great ecstasy, and no one could estimate the bounds of their pleasure. Only Kamsa was morose. Because intention, he had different thought process. He neither clapped nor offered benediction to Krishna. Kamsa was very sorry that the wrestlers had been killed and had fled the assembly. He began to address his friends as follows. I ordered that these two sons of Vasudeva be immediately driven out of Mathura. The coward boys who have come with them should be plundered and all their riches taken away. Nanda Maharaja should immediately be arrested and killed for his cunning behavior. And the rascal Vasudeva should also be killed without delay. Also my father, Ugrasena, who has always supported my enemies against my will, should be killed. When Kamsa spoke in this way, Lord Krishna became very angry with him, and within a second he jumped over the high guards of King Kamsa. Kamsa was prepared for Krishna's attack, for he knew from the beginning that he was to be the cause of his death. He immediately unsheathed his sword and prepared to answer the challenge of Krishna with sword and shield. Lord Krishna caught hold of him with great force, knocked the crown from the head of Kamsa, grabbed his long hair in his hand. He then dragged Kamsa from his seat to the wrestling dais and threw him down. Then Kamsa at once straddled his chest and began to strike him over and over again. Simply from the strokes of his fist, Kamsa lost his vital force. Kamsa had 8 brothers headed by Kanka. All of them were younger than he. And when they learned that their elder brother had been killed, they combined together and rushed towards Krishna in great anger to kill him. But Balarama took charge of killing all of Kamsa's 8 brothers. He immediately took up an available weapon, most probably the elephant's tusk, which he carried, and killed the 8 brothers, one after another, just as a lion kills a flock of deer. That elephant thing is missing here. So they killed that elephant which was standing on the gate. No? So they killed that elephant also. The tusk he was holding in his hand. So with that he killed everybody, all the brothers. So now Balarama strikes Rukmi also. Okay, now what is this story will say? So time, yeah, in another, I think 15 minutes later. The king of Kalinga was a friend of Rukmi and gave him the ill advice to play chess with Balarama and thus defeat him in a bet. Shri Balaramji was not a very expert chess player, and this was known to the king of Kalinga. So Rukmi was advised to retaliate against the family members of Krishna by challenging Balarama to play chess. You're weak in that game, so just invite. And as a Kshatriya, you are not supposed to say no. If you're called for a war or anything, you should just accept the challenge and go ahead. So Shri Balaramji accepted Rukmi's challenge and sat down to play. Betting was with gold coins, and Balarama first of all challenged with 100 coins, then 1,000 coins, then 10,000 coins. Each time Balarama lost, and Rukmi was victorious. Shri Balarama's losing the game was an opportunity for the king of Kalinga to criticize Krishna and Balarama. Because Balarama was a loser in the game, he was a little intolerant of the sarcastic joking words and became somewhat agitated. Rukmi again challenged Balarama and made a bet of 100,000 gold coins. The bet went on increasing. But fortunately, this time Balarama won. Nonetheless, out of cunningness, Rukmi claimed that Balarama was a loser. No. You only lost as usual. You have lost. I have only won. So he made a wrong statement. And that he himself had won. Because of this lie, Balaramji became most angry with Rukmi. This time he challenged and made a bet of 100 million coins. He said, okay, again I'll play. Again, Balarama was the winner. Rukmi appealed to the princess present and he especially mentioned the name of the king of Kalinga. During the dispute, there was a voice from the sky and it announced that all the honest purposes, Balarama was the actual winner of the game. Even we say Asari, the voice coming from the sky. So that also said, he is the winner. Balarama is the winner. That he was being abused and that the statement of Rukmi that he had won was absolutely false. In spite of this divine voice, Rukmini insisted that Balrama had lost, and by his persistence, it appeared that he had death upon his head. Falsely puffed up by all ill advice of his friend, he did not give much importance to the oracle, and he began to criticize Balramji again. He said, "My dear Balramji, you two brothers covered boys only, may be very expert in tending cows, but how can you be expert in playing chess or shooting arrows on the battlefield? These arts are well known only to princely order." Hearing this kind of pinching talk by Rukmi and hearing the loud laughter of all the other princes present there, Lord Balarama became as agitated as burning cinders. He immediately took his club in his hand and without further talk struck Rukmi on the head. From that one blow, Rukmi fell down and immediately he was dead and gone. Thus, Rukmi was killed by Balarama on that auspicious occasion of Aniruddha's marriage. These things are not very uncommon in Kshatriya society. So all this killing is very common. And what is that? Another demon. Deliverance of Dvida Gorilla. Yeah. Dushcha Sakam Mriga Sakam Aruda Kampian Dhumam Chakre Kila Shabdam Atmanam Sampradarshayan. The mischievous ape climbed a tree branch and then revealed his presence by shaking the trees and making the sound Kila. He went, he was trying to make sound and was trying to, come, hit me like. So then these people gave him good blow and even he was killed. All very short. Many demons are there. We can't go in full. So you all can go through that Krishna book. So it's all given in full detail. And now this is what Lord Baladeva dragged the city of Hastinapura to secure Samba's release. Finding it unbearable not to take an advice part on behalf of either of the parties, he left Dwarka to plead on the plea of visiting various holy places. Now they've said enough is all, everything is done. Most of the big all this Kamsa is dead, everything's over. So they thought of taking go on a pilgrimage. So they left Dwarka and then started going to visit many holy places. So that time they came across the river. He came across the river. He wanted to take bath, but then he was so tired that Yamuna river didn't come. He ordered, "Please come. I want to take bath." He was reluctant. He was hesitating to go till there. He was, very tired. Since Yamuna didn't come, he took out his plow and he just made a cut. Even today, you can see that, cut when you go there. So, and Yamuna had to pass through that and he took that. That's pastime is also there. Then another one is Balarama kills Romaharshana with blade of grass. Towards the end of Dwapara Yuga, thousands of sages assembled on the banks of Naimisharanya to perform a 1,000-year yajna in an effort to reverse the onset of Kali Yuga. So they were just trying to avoid the Kali Yuga should not come because it's going to be still worse. So they don't want the Kali Yuga to happen. So they were doing all the 1,000-year yajna. They appointed as their leader Romaharshana, one of the main disciples of Vyasadeva, who was also present when Sukadeva Goswami narrated Srimad Bhagavatam to King Parikshit. When Lord Balarama entered the assembly, understanding him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all present rose to offer him respect. They thought Krishna has come. So they all got up and showed him respect. But Romaharshana, proud at occupying the position of the leader, did not get up. Lord Balarama could understand that even though Romaharshana was an expert Vedantist, he had not yet realized these teachings. Considering him unqualified to lead the ceremony, Balarama touched him with a blade of grass. The grass is such a humble, small thing. Just one touch, causing him to die. He then instituted Suta. In his place, he arranged Suta, the son of Romaharshana, as the leader of the assembly and continued with his pilgrimage. Now, liberation of Balbala. Just another 5 minutes, just bear with me. Lord Balarama, wanting to stop the fighting, said, "My dear King Duryodhana and Bhimasena, I know that both of you are great fighters and are all well known in the world as great heroes. But still, I think that Bhimasena is superior to Duryodhana in bodily strength. On the other hand, Duryodhana is superior in the art of fighting with a club. Taking this into consideration, my opinion is that neither of you is inferior to the other in fighting. Under the circumstances, there is very little chance of one of you being defeated by the other. Both are very equally, qualified and both are on the same platform. Therefore, I request you not to waste your time in fighting this way. I wish you to stop this unnecessary fight." He was advising them. This is all part of that Mahabharata conversation. Then marriage of Subhadra is another good pastime. There was once an incident where in order to marry Balarama and Krishna's sister, Arjuna, upon the advice of Krishna, disguised himself as a sage. Arjuna became like a sage, and he appeared. Balarama didn't know that it was Arjuna. So Balarama, believing Arjuna to be a sage, presented him Subhadra to render him service. Now, he thought Arjuna, he didn't know that Arjuna was sage. He said, one sage has come, so Subhadra, please offer him, whatever he needs, just offer him food and everything. Subhadra consequently fell in love with Arjuna and willingly left with him. They eloped and they went. Balarama, thinking his sister was kidnapped, was going to punish Arjuna. Balarama, thinking his sister was kidnapped, he was going to punish Arjuna. But Krishna, the greatest architect of flowery words, pacified Balarama and explained to him what truly happened. The Sutradhar is the only in Krishna book it is given. So all this drama is all under the direction of Krishna only. So Krishna knew everything. Krishna is he had only asked Arjuna to come as a sage and with Subhadra. Balarama, he marries Revati. I think the last part. In Satya Yuga, there was a king named Raivata, whose daughter is called Revati. Was excellent in all respects. Unable to find a match suitable for her, the king took her to the court of Brahma for his advice. Where is Brahma's long, big travel to go there. After waiting for some time, when the king met Brahma, he was shocked to learn that in the short time he spent in the Brahmaloka, millions of years had already passed on the earth. So we know that in fourth chapter it comes in Bhagavad Gita, no? So ours our so many years is, their one day is our so many years like that. So then after seeing Brahma and taking his permission that he really so many years have passed in this earthly years. So after waiting for some time when the king met Brahma, he was shocked to learn that in short span of time he spent in Brahmaloka, millions of years had already passed on earth, and at the time Dwapara Yuga was concluding. However, Lord Brahma informed King Raivata that present at this time was Lord Balarama, who was more than qualified to be husband of Revati. No, only Lord Balarama is the one person who is qualified to a match for your daughter as a husband to Revati. King Raivata returned and approached Balarama to accept Revati as his wife. However, Revati belonged to an earlier Yuga. So earlier Yuga people used to be looking tall and long and healthy, very hefty and all. So Revati belonged to an earlier Yuga when people were much larger physically. So Lord Balarama placed his plow on her head until she shrunk to an appropriate size and accepted her as his wife. So like past tense. The destruction of the Yadu dynasty is the last part. Lord Shri Krishna, taking note of many bad omens, advised the Yadavas to abandon Dwaraka and go to Prabhasa on the bank of river Saraswati to perform Swastyayana and other rituals for counteracting bad fortune. They followed his advice and went to Prabhasa. There, they became absorbed in festivity. Too much of pomp and posh, they started drinking and all that. And by the illusory power of Lord Krishna, they became intoxicated from drinking liquor. And once liquor gone, then you are losing your brain. You're not in your senses. Thus, losing their intelligence, they quarreled among themselves and began killing one another. That is what Krishna wanted. He wanted all this to happen and finish. Everything should get over, and he will just leave all this drama, the end part of the drama, until not a man was left alive. Afterwards, Sri Baladeva went to the shore of the ocean and by the mystic strength of yoga, gave up his body. Seeing the disappearance of Baladeva, Lord Shri Krishna sat down silently upon the ground. Then the hunter named Jara, then a hunter named Jara, mistaking the sole of Lord's left foot for a deer, pierced it with an arrow. From far he couldn't make out, he just pierced an arrow. The hunter immediately understood his mistake and falling at the feet of Lord Krishna, begged to be punished. In reply, Lord Krishna told the hunter that what he had done was actually according to his own desire. This is what has to be done. This is what everything is happening as per he has planned. The Lord then sent the hunter to Vaikuntha. When Daruka, Krishna's charioteer, arrived on the scene and saw Lord Krishna in that condition, he began to lament. Krishna told him that he should go to Dwaraka, inform the residents about the annihilation of Yadu dynasty. all are over, all have gone, and advised them all to leave Dwarka for Indraprastha. Daruka obediently carried out his order. That's the end of it, and we'll all chant one time Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare.
We couldn't, just 1 minute. I'll just, well, I mean, the lock is removed. 1 minute, I'll just stop recording.